When I was a little girl, I didn't care for much children's TV. It seemed a little condescending to me, and I was impatient to grow up. Instead, I watched a lot of older shows, thanks to a low-budget independent TV station in our area. This quirky little channel, with its regular supply of out-of-date and even public domain offerings, was my introduction to film noir. Why would a little girl watch film noir of all things? Because of the Femme Fatale. Like I said, I was impatient to grow up. Most children's programming had child protagonists. I was already focused on what sort of adult I wanted to be. I saw that in the Femme Fatale. The Femme Fatale stood out. Unlike other women in those older shows, she had her own wishes, desires, and goals, unconnected to any men in her life. She's independent and ambitious. As a child, I did not pick up on the subtext that, in a patriarchal society, a woman with ambition is a threat to men. All I saw was a glamorous woman living for herself. That's what I wanted to be. In too many films of the genre, when a woman is glamorous or sexy, she is luring men to their dooms. Of course, the films were usually structured so that such wicked women eventually got what was coming to them. Some of that was no doubt due to the Hays Code, a series of guidelines for self-censorship to which studios adhered at the time. The Hays Code mandated that criminal activity lead to punishment, no matter how hot the criminal. Not all femmes fatales were criminals, but I didn't hold it against them if they were. As a teen, I learned that in the early 40s, a lot of women got good jobs because so many men were overseas fighting fascists. Then the men came home, and those women lost their jobs. It wasn't fair. Once I realized that, I loved the femme fatale even more. As an adult, I began to appreciate how the femme fatale of film noir reflected male fears of independent women. Such fears date back centuries, millennia. Femme fatale archetypes can be found in mythologies from around the world. An independent woman does what she wishes to do without being concerned about male permission. When she goes to school or to work, she is not husband shopping, nor looking for marks to scam. When she is glamorous or sexy, it is because she feels like being that way at that moment, not because she's entrapping men. Since the Dobbs decision killed abortion rights a few months ago, let me expand on that last point. An independent woman is in control of her sexuality and claims ownership of her own body and appearance. She does not need a man's permission to be what she wants or look how she wants. But a woman making her own choices is political in a way that men making their own choices is not. And women are sexualized in ways that men are not. Feminine charm is not a trap for men, but men are the ones who choose to see a trap. Moreover, men allow themselves to be ensnared in feminine plots created by their masculine imaginations. Which brings me to another fictional female related to the femme fatale, the crazy bitch. Another thing I learned from studying history was that, like the femme fatale, the crazy bitch has historical roots. Victorian-era newspapers often ran sensational articles about inexplicable female violence, put down to hysteria. In 1895, the New York Times published an article on pistol-packing ladies on bicycles. In 1907, the Cleveland Plain Dealer startled readers with tales of women stabbing men with their hatpins. What could possibly drive women to violence was the question in the air. Women's rights activists knew the answer. While most men were perfectly decent fellows, too many of them looked on women with predatory eyes and acted on their worst impulses. What we think of as the classic femme fatale emerged from the gritty films noir of the 40s and 50s, but her daughters populate a great deal of our culture today. Since my first contact with those old films on that weird little TV station, I've wanted to play the part of a glamorous, mysterious, possibly dangerous lady. Maybe I will someday. And if I get to play that part and you see me, whistle for me. You know how to whistle, don't you? You just put your lips together and blow.
Blame on Maine, boy. Put the blame on Maine. They once had a shooting up in the Klondike when they got Dan McGrew.